Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And this is the sixth and last news on 6th of February newspaper front page dawn. Petroleum levy collection jumps 100%. Government breaks on record by earning rupees 275 billion in first half of current year. Petrol HSD generate most revenue. By Kiani. Pakistan breaking its own record of last year, the government has collected the highest ever rupees 275.32 billion petroleum levy in the first half of the current year. The consolidated fiscal data for July-December 2020 released by the Finance Ministry showed that petroleum levy PL collection in the first half of the current year was almost 100% higher than rupees 137.95 billion collected in the same period in FY 2019, fiscal year 2019. Even the petroleum levy collection of last year was in itself a record over 68% higher than the collections in the first half of fiscal year 2018. However, the levy collection in July-December 2018 first part of the PTI government at rupees 81.91 billion was lower than rupees 93.84 billion, about 13% of the comparable period, July to December 2017, of the PML and government. The PTI had been critical of the previous government for charging high levy rates on petroleum products and had initially started lowering caviar rates. As such, the petroleum levy has become the single largest non-tax revenue directly imposed by the federal government on the petroleum products on per liter basis, otherwise the surplus profit of the State Bank of Pakistan at rupees 375.5 billion in the largest non-tax revenue that directly occurs primarily on account of interest on government borrowing. The BML and government have been charged a maximum of rupees 6 to 14% per liter PL on various products. However, the PMLN government incorporated the maximum PL rate in the Finance Bill 2017 to 18 at rupees 30 per liter on petrol, diesel, and high octane, but was never able to actually charge such rates. The finance minister at that time, Asadumar, had initially announced that the clause would be withdrawn from the finance bill, which had remained untouched. Later, the PTI started increasing PL on almost all products, which peaked to rupees 30 per liter. Sorry, for drying up my throat. Increasing the PL on almost 11 products, which peaked to rupees 30% per liter until a few months ago. Interestingly, the government has set a target for PL collection at rupees 450 billion in the budget for the current fiscal year. However, with rupees 275 billion or about 61% of collection already made in the first 6 months, the government was now comfortable with downward adjustments in petroleum levy. At present, the government is charging rupees 21.04 per litre PL on petrol, rupees 22.11 per litre on high speed diesel HSD, rupees 6.91 per litre on light diesel oil LDO, and rupees 5.54 per litre on kerosene oil. As such, the government is now charging a total of about rupees 41 per litre tax on petrol and rupees 42 per litre on HSD. Over the last many months, the government has been tweaking with petroleum levy rates instead of GST, as levy remains in the federal kitty while the GST goes to the divisional pool taxes and thus about 57% share to the provinces. The petrol and HSD are two major products that generate most of the revenue for the government because of their massive and yet growing consumption in the country. Average petrol sales are touching 700,000 tons per month against the monthly consumption of around 600,000 tons of HSD. The sale of kerosene and LDO are generally less at 11,000 and 2,000 tons per month, respectively. The Finance Ministry's data show that the SBP's surplus profit during the first half of the current year was about 12.7% lower than rupees 426.5 billion in comparable period of last fiscal year. The Finance Ministry showed that the total revenue collection in first half of the current year to be rupees 3.351 trillion or 7.4% of the GDP compared to rupees 3.23 trillion or 7.3% of the GDP during the same period last year. The data showed that tax revenues declined to rupees 2.456 trillion or 5.4% of the GDP in the first half of the current year when compared with rupees 2.465 trillion or 5.6% of the GDP last year. And in the end, the formal request, if you have not yet, to please subscribe our channel and press the like and bell button to get the fresh from us. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time and goodbye.